And the latest remark about our current team to me is, man, y'all got some running backs. And I look at them with a funny look on my face. LSU has always had great running backs. Of course, in front of those great running backs, there's some pretty darn good linemen we've had too. I had the opportunity to play here with a great group of kids. I don't think there was a selfish bone in any of them's body that they would more than they gave. It was a fantastic group of kids. I look at those old bastards now. How did you play ball? You're too beat up and crippled to play ball. Well, that's the reason I'm beat up and crippled. We had a great time out here. Got a great education. And 95% of us have been very successful. It's been a fun thing to follow. We've lost 6 of the 33 in the 3-man team. We've lost 6, and that's above the national average. There were some of them, including myself, that I didn't think would ever live to make 75 years old, but we have, and we've enjoyed it. Everybody wants to know, how do we reflect or match up with the players of today? Of course, with somebody's ego as big as mine, I think everybody would be playing second string. but they are, today's game is much different. The rules have changed some. In fact, they've changed a lot. I like to picture with Coach Dietzel and myself, and we're standing there looking into the sun in Tulane Stadium. Scooter Purvis had just made a fantastic run and faked out 9 people and dodged 2, and they finally caught him on the sidelines and they hit him in the ribs. And the trainers and the coaches were over there to see if Scooter could stay in. Because if Scooter came out, the other running back had used his 2 ins and outs. You could only go in and come out twice. And I was the only one left alive. That I was still eligible to go back and play. Coach Dees was there, and sure enough, Scooter really had bruised his ribs bad, and he came out. And so Coach Diesel tells me, he said, now you go in there and you tell Darrell to stick that ball in the ground, run it in the middle, let's get this ball game over and get out of here. And we had put in a new toss play that year, for that game. You sit in the wing and you toss it to the other one. So Johnny was in the wing, I would be here, and they'd toss it to me, I'd break 1 tackle, we score. So I went in the huddle and I said, Darrell, Coach Dietzel said to run that toss play to me right now. And true to the code, Darrell called the play because Coach Dietzel had sent it in. So he called the play and tossed to me, and I went for 30, 40 yards, touchdown. 61-0. We kicked the extra point, 62-0. There's the coach from Tulane out in the middle of the field. Dietzel, you rotten. He did. I didn't do it. Till this day, there's a guy in Tulane Stadium, Tulane fan, had the binoculars on with me and Dietzel. Should have been watching Scooter on the ground, but he's looking at me and Dietzel. He says, I saw you tell him to call that play. We had some great times, won a lot of football games, had some great things happen to us out here. The education that we got, I feel, was fantastic. Everybody studied, everybody worked, everybody lifted weights. There had never been a weightlifting situation at LSU. There had never been a weightlifting situation anywhere in America but Estroma High School. And Coach Dietzel went down every day during the off season after our freshman year, because he would look at myself, Dwayne Leopard, and Luther Fortenberry, how much stronger we were than the kids our equal size. And every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he'd go work out at Alvin Lawrence before we got there. And he saw what was about to begin. And when he put it in, Alvin went with him, we put it in for the entire team. And it was something new, something special, and every one of the kids swarmed to it and enjoyed it and took it as an adjunct. And Murray Warmath came down from Minnesota, visited our spring practice. And after the thing, they said, well, Coach, they wrapped up spring practice. He was going back to Minnesota. He says, what do you think of my squad? He said, that's the smallest, rattiest group of kids I've ever seen in my life. We went 5-5 my sophomore year. Jimmy Taylor was a fullback and a great one. Looking back, they had 3 players that could have played with us as seniors. 3 only. And we played Southeast and won 5 games, lost 5 games. Luckily, we won the last one over Tulane to break 5-5. Coming back in our junior year, nobody gave us a chance to win a national championship, much less, as Steve Spurrier said, it's easier to win a national championship than it is to win a SEC championship. The same story was true then. But we did win all our games, surprisingly, and to the joy of everyone. I would talk to the North Baton Rouge Lions Club prior to the 58 season. And they wanted to know, well, Billy, how y'all gonna do? And I said, I think we'll do good. I said, we hadn't lost a game yet, and I really don't plan to. Well, I'm on the north side of Baton Rouge with Mr. Clifford Russo and his associates, and everybody was for LSU. So I didn't make anybody mad. We didn't make any presses, and everybody took it as an omen that we were going to win. And we did. We won every game. Now, they thought I was a genius. I thought I was just a young guy shooting his mouth off. But we did have a great time. Our kids played 2 sports then as they do now. We had Bo Strange and the kid from St. Aloysius, Andy Bourgeois, linebacker. He played third base for us. We had boys on the track team. It was a very close group. And I think one of Coach Dietzel's greatest moves as a head coach, we would go to class and get out at 12, and we had a 12 to 12:30 you could eat lunch, and then at 12:30 we had a meeting. And every Monday at the meeting, Coach Dietzel would practice his speech for that night's television show, and we'd have to sit there and listen to it. So he would get his practice in. But if you were late for the meeting, you had to run the stadium. So everybody wanted to get in and get fed and get to the meeting on time. And there was some pushing and shoving one day, and there were some words exchanged, and then they went outside and beat the hell out of each other. And so he comes there and he walks in, he looks over, they're both beat up, bloody, never said a word. It was Darrell Mathern and Merle Shakespeare. They had gone at it pretty good until time to start the meeting. Now they missed lunch, but they went in. Diesel never said a word. Went to practice. They all said, "Well, we're going to get called in. We're going to get called in. We're going to get it." Oh, yes. Never called them in. They went back to the dorm to eat supper. After supper, they went to their rooms. And during practice that afternoon, all their clothes were moved into the same room. And they roomed together for the rest of their life at LSU. I thought everybody liked both of them. That fight, that incident, could have split our ball club for a year. But he was smart enough to foresee it and forestall it. And I thought that was a tremendous move on his part.